Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I thought some bars that he
Run Ryan.
Ryan.
And everything have players out there.
I think the fellas were taking more serious.
What grade?
That one at the go.
Yes, because at the end of the day, right now Manchester United are fellas, welcome to All In, All United. And we're back again earlier. Another far from convincing win. You know, especially when you consider, you know, how much we may have dominated, you know, the game and we created some fairly good chances to score. You know, but again, you know, this lack of clinicality. If I could coin that phrase, that's a real word, clinicality. Anyway, we lack a clinicality in front of goal, you know, just make these seemingly easy games into nail biters now, fellas. You know, I mean, we creating the world of chances, we keeping the ball, we moving the ball. You know, I thought today, you know, we found out we were patient and then we created the moments. But it's the lack of capitalizing on the chances that we created. Because I thought we created some really, really good chances today, fellas. And for some reason, I can't understand why we making games so hard to win. You know? Anyway, what we saying, Phil?
Yeah, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, it's 3 points in the bag, right? But we like you said, we didn't aim to please today, right? That front three of Garnacho, Hoyland, and Rashford. I'm gonna give it some time because I know this is probably their second game playing together. So I'm gonna give it some time to see if those three can gel quick or gel. By the end of the day, they were not clinical today. I think Rasmus had one chance that should have been goal, but it was a spectacular save by their goalkeeper, right? But boy, Luton Town should have at least hold about 3 or 4 goals today, but one, boy, it is what it is. It's not a loss, but the performance was not convincing, right? So
Yeah. Simeon, just turn your device landscape so we could follow the Could you?
Now, like with Chroma having issues and the StreamYard, I'm using Firefox and trying to no, let me do the landscape port, you know,
Okay, all
the
right, no
visual.
problem, no
So,
problem, no problem.
but you know,
We will work with.
I can't. I like United. Like I like Manchester United tonight, man. I can't get nothing right. You know, nothing go right. You know, it should be easy. It should be easy. You know, normally come in. You know, you set up. You know, things work right. But tonight, it ain't working.
eh,
And just like United, it's hard to figure out why. You know, then Fulham has all these chances today to win, to score goals, and then can score one. I mean, only one goal. Defenders at the score. All the chances Rashford have, all the chances Hoyland have, all the chances Garnacho have, and then when just wasting chances. I mean, we have so many issues on this team, but I think today is where you kind of single out one main issue, and that's the clinical finishing in front of goal. I mean, I didn't see the whole game, but you know, for what I saw, like we made so many good choices. It wasn't really, I didn't make a lot, but we made enough good choices today. And then for us get in front, I mean, I see Anthony pass the ball to Rashford, all kind of space. I say, how this must be a goal. How how you not going to score that? Garnacho too, 1-1. I mean, I mean, Ten Hag can't put boots on and score goal for them. I know we have issues all over the pitch, but name of the game is scoring goals. And if us can't, I mean, simple thing like we've always had issues as a Manchester United. Always had issues for years. Playing style, midfield, defenders falling asleep. We've always had those problems. But we've had enough people in front scoring goals to hide the problems. And now nobody's scoring goals. I mean, therefore, us allergic to the back of the net. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing today. And like, of all the teams in the top 10 of the Premier League this week, we are the only one with a negative goal difference. The closest team to us is Brighton. I think it's Brighton, and they have a +4. We have a -3, and they still have one game to play, to catch up with us. Like how we making simple things hard. Like I don't know how Ten Hag will solve that. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, y'all go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. JP, jump in now.
Yeah.
What we saying? What we saying?
Um, I mean, first of all, I got the 3 points. I must say that first of all, but I think in terms of what I wanted to see today, I wanted to see a dominant performance. I wanted to see a blowout. I don't want to hear that this is the Brighton team that almost beat Liverpool. I don't want to hear that because to me, they were
You mean the
home.
losing team?
Yeah, they were home. They were home, and as the hype playing Liverpool, whatever. But they came to Old Trafford as Luton Town. Come on, supposed to share licks today, and as Simeon saying, is the finishing. People like I don't know what going on with them person from the goal. They reaching there, and it's like they don't remember what to do in terms of how to score. So it was a frustrating what it was too. I was feeling too concerned and had a kind of anxiety watching the game, and it's Luton you playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a right. It's a right. And for me, as you were saying, JP, you're playing at Old Trafford. Come on, man. Let's. This Luton team, hasn't been having much of a good season, right? And I feel they would be leaving Old Trafford, you know, more confident, considering, you know, and the chances that they would have created, the shots they would have gotten on goal, being able to, say, well, they needed Victor Lindelof to step up to
Yeah,
beat us,
yeah,
you know? They're going to be leaving thinking that, hey, we could win the Premier League, you know? No, as foolish and as it may sound, I don't think, we much teams will come here, with any kind of fear of the possibility that they could get a result, right? And that's concerning for me. Now again, we glad for the 3 points, Phil echo it, Simeon echo it, JP echo it. I saying it, we glad for the 3 points. But we just always say it's the manner in which you're gonna achieve something now, and for Manchester United with all the players that we have and all the history. I know it might come for much now. With the pride, in actually trying to finish these chances. Now Simeon asks a real pertinent question. Right? What how to put it, boy? Alright. What positives, right, could we take from the fact that we have 13 different goal scorers this season? Right? Of which, of the 13 goals, the attackers score one.
You
I
are
feel,
positive from that. You are positive from that.
yeah, I want to put it, it's hard to have a positive somewhere in the fact that we scored 13 goals, and of the 13 goals, one out of 13 are strikers, one of we attackers score.
Well. Last season we wanted more people to step up and score goals. I guess So if it's one way we could look at it is at least other people scoring, but um, I think you're paying your attackers, your strikers to score. So them fellas they're in the pay right now.
Yeah, we wanted more players to step up and score goals, but we also wanted the previous players to keep their goal scoring form
Yeah,
as well too, and
yeah.
that is not happening. So I mean, to find any positives where Victor Lindelof got the same amount of goals as Rashford, Hoyland, and Martial and Anthony, I
More more
I I
more than
am
Hoyland in the Premier League, yeah?
yeah
In the Premier League, eh?
I should have mentioned that in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to come up to bring up any positives per se, right? I mean, as you guys alluded to, the front three are just not informed, right?
I mean,
Simeon?
but we we kind of saw it coming in a way. We knew in the off season we needed a top striker. We needed a striker. Yes, we had Hoyland on our mind, but we knew we needed somebody that was ready to go right now, like not a development striker. We need a top class striker to go right away. And for whatever reason we know we can afford the big names, but we kind of skipped on the middle tier and we went to the young striker without addressing that specific need as far as a real ready now striker. And people might say, well, Rasmus, but that's not. We need a striker who don't have excuses. I don't want anytime Rasmus miss for people to say, oh, he's young, he developing. We Manchester United. We don't need. We like to have them in the background or playing some minutes, but we're not meant to have a developer, a striker carrying the load of our front line. That makes no sense. The man playing well, the man playing hard, but you can't, expect him to carry that load that is Manchester United. And we had Cavani, we had Ronaldo, and those guys are brought in because of that same problem. Martial wasn't doing it anymore. Who else we had? Greenwood played on the right most of the time. He was going to be a striker later on, but that didn't turn out like he wanted to. But we always had a need for a striker that we kind of plug holes in and never really addressed. Rasmus is supposed to be the next guy, but who is it going to be now? Martial, Ten Hag see he believe in Martial, but it don't look so. He really played Martial like he believe in him. Um, we see what happened to Rashford. Garnacho looking just like Rashford as far as decision making and finishing right now. Um, who else is there? Sancho's the next one. We know have the Sancho. I mean, who else is there? Pellistri can't get off the bench. It's not like you could threaten them with somebody to come on and play striker. There's no one there busting that. Like, who else is there? We have to wait for Ahmad to play false nine. What? There's no one. you know.
But
We
but yeah, and there's a good point to make this, Simeon. So Phil, I put this one to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time Ten Hag spoke in the past about Anthony Martial, he was always saying that the team just played better when Tony there, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. And then we find ourselves now where we have a striker that we want to we want to a young striker. He's showing the potential. He's showing all the promise. We've seen a lot of positives from having him in the squad. But at the same time, when we bought him, he had an injury concern. Then we understand the rigors of the Premiership and all the other competitions that we're playing in. But Ten Hag doesn't seem to use. No, we had an issue. We know even from last season, we had an issue with Ten Hag using his full squad. Maybe we could say because he didn't trust his squad. But we're talking about Anthony Martial, who was his main man last season, sorry,
season.
albeit he was rarely available, but in ability and performance wise, he knew what he was getting from Martial. So why isn't he, given consideration to the length of the season, the rigors of the season, why isn't he allowing Anthony Martial to feature more so that he will have Hoyland fresh or fresher for what is to come? Why you think that is the case? Quite confusing, it baffling to me.
I I don't think it's baffling because you kind of alluded in your statement that the Premier League is rigorous, and we know Martial's track history when it comes to playing a full 90 in the Premier League, right? I think Ten Hag is still trying to protect Martial because Martial can probably give you 2 or 3 games of availability. Whether he scores or not, that's a different conversation, right? But it will come to the fourth game where in the 20th or 30th minute, you can see Martial sitting down on the ground holding some part of his body, right? And lo and behold, we would just have to go back to square one where we're just relying on Rasmus Hoyland, right? So I guess that's what Ten Hag is probably um, doing, but that shows you how far we've dropped in terms of the striking department and how far we've dropped mentally as a team, right? Because right now, instead of playing players that are available, we're looking to protect players, right? We're protecting Anthony Martial, we're protecting Rasmus Højlund due to these injuries, right? Pep Guardiola isn't protecting Erling Haaland. Mikel Arteta isn't protecting Bukayo Saka. He may be protecting Gabriel Jesus because Gabriel Jesus has had an injury record. Fair enough, right? Jurgen Klopp isn't looking to protect Mo Salah because these guys have a track record of being available. Not only available, but also scoring goals as well, too, right? So right now, it's almost like we're looking to protect 3 of our, let's say, forwards. Still looking to protect Rashford because he had some injuries um, last season and even earlier this season. Still looking to protect Martial for obvious reasons, and now signing Hoyland, who had the back problem. When we signed him, we're still looking to protect Hoyland as well, too, right? I think how many games did Hoyland play this season where he played a full 90 minutes? I can't remember. Maybe there's 1 or 2 games out there, but out of all
I
the
mean,
other games,
that's fair enough, but still, that doesn't explain how Martial doesn't play more minutes. I
yeah,
mean,
but no, I'm saying he's not playing more minutes because Ten Hag is still of this protective mentality of Martial. Because at the end of the day, like I said, Martial can give you availability for 2 or 3 games. When that fourth game comes around the 30th or 40th minute, Martial is lying on. I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen this over the many years under Ole.
but but at this rate, Martial, by the time if we continue at this rate, Martial, what's the point of having him? Like at this rate,
But
because we get
I totally agree. What's the point? I'm not against. I'm totally agreeing with you. What's the point of having Martial if we're just going to keep on having this protective mentality for Martial? At the end of the day, our club has to do some deep analysis while scouting potential players that could be playing for Manchester United. Right? We did poor scouting for the likes of Owen Hargreaves. That's just one example, but there are other examples out there as well. And for Tony Martial, sometimes, actually, most fans are saying, you know what, let's just write off Martial, sell him or let him go and look to get in 2 fresh new faces that could be striking, right? Who you don't have to protect, right?
yeah,
So, yeah.
like for me, I rather see Martial play some minutes now, get hurt, and come January we bring somebody else. That way, let's give it one last roll of the dice with Martial because right now it ain't hurting nothing. We just signed Garnacho to a contract and the man can't score. The man just get a new contract. The man get all kind of tattoo, do up his hair, do eyebrows, and Iman can't score.
Fixie teeth, you man and
Yeah.
big
I
teeth.
man, Iman do everything, but man waving at fans, in Copenhagen, for laughing like a natural. He trying to. It's like, and this issue we have with people have with us, Manchester United as a team. And like I think we as United fans don't see it, but people see our players being signed to big money, and they see what it does to their heads, how big they feel the reach. You know, as soon as they get signed, everything just changed to them, and they feel like they can run out there and run up to anybody, wave at crowds, and get a real big head. But they ain't doing nothing on the field. They're not showing look we look better or worse than last year. I don't see any real difference in Ganacho. His finishing has never really been that great, and it hasn't even gotten better. I mean, and well,
Don't,
I
don't,
just
don't, don't get me wrong. I am all for giving Martial a chance, right? But if Martial can give us 5 games in a row, I will be so surprised. Now, you did mention the January transfer window, right? Playing Anthony Martial from now to the January transfer window will always be a risk. But I would rather give Martial a few minutes between now and the January transfer window where there's a possibility that some team may say, okay, that guy isn't getting much minutes at Manchester United. Come over to team B, team C, whoever looks to show some interest. And now you can get minutes at this team now, right? Let's say Tony Martial between after the international break and December 31st, January 1st, 2024. He just happens not to complete a full 90. Let's say he's injured, right? We won't have a chance of offloading Tony Martial, whether it's a loan or a buy, in January. That's how I see it, right?
You see, the
Yeah.
thing with the thing
GP,
with
what you saying?
Martial, the thing with Martial is Martial is what is wrong with this club because he's a player that was awarded new contracts, and these players have been doing nothing to really earn these new big contracts that they have been getting.
Agreed.
Now, now we in a dilemma because we saw what happened with Hoyland today. You know, Hoyland fit. So, and Martial has been looking pretty terrible when he comes on lately. So, if Hoyland not fit enough after the international break, then is Martial we are expecting to lead the line first now. And this is Martial who hasn't been really getting much minutes and going on what Reem was talking about in terms of how Ten Hag talk about Martial last season to the limited minutes he given him now. Like it not making much sense. And yes, you want Hoyland to come into form, but then the way Hoyland running down everything and running hard and not getting nothing out of the game is like we run him into an injury. And Martial is a player who has to be put into form, who has to go on confidence. You can't just stick Martial in a Man United team and say, right, lead the line because we're not going to get nothing out of him now. So I think we have to look at how we managing, how Ten Hag managing the squad because we can have two strikers, first of all, alone. We only have two strikers to depend on, and that is Martial and Hoyland. Martial has not even hit 100 goals for this club in the 9 years that he is playing for us. We cannot depend on Anthony Martial as a striker for this club. You bring in Rasmus Hoyland, a 20-year-old who had one season in Italy. Yes, you're seeing potential in him, but potential cannot lead the line for Manchester United. And now we just causing problems because we have greedy wingers at the club. Where you saw today a little more productivity from Rashford trying to be more direct on the right side. But Garnacho, as Simeon say, doing exactly what Rashford did on the left. They want to cut in, they want to score. Nobody is playing to the strengths of the strikers in the team. So it's a whole culture, it's a whole change of mindset. It's plenty that take place in this team, and Ten Hag got to be the one stamping the authority with this style of play. I think that's where we're not seeing our style because you have a striker on top and nobody trying to help him score because everybody else wants to do the hero thing and score.
But let me just interject on this, right? And I go disagree with you a little bit, JP,
Yeah,
on the Martial thing because when Martial got his contract renewals under Ollie, and that was when he went on, and had that, excellent season. Well, he
right,
completed that season, and then he went on to have a real excellent season. That is when he was given the number 9 back. And I
right.
was hearing Andy Cole talking about that same statistic about, the amount of goals he have for the amount of time that he's been here. I also think that's a kind of, unfair um, criticism simply because if you look at Martial's career at Man United, it's been play on the left, and I find like your attitude, go on the bench. So, because Martial has never been consistently playing in a position, and when he did get the number 9 jersey and given the responsibility, take it. That is when the whole injury issue started to kick in. So, I think, judging him as a number 9 as though he played as a number 9 for his entire Man United career, right? To say, well, he only had, this amount of goals for this amount of time isn't really taking into consideration all the facts. No, do I disagree with the state of the club and how we make decisions? Of course, I agree with you on that. And probably for us to be relying on Anthony Martial in 2023 is absurd. For us to be relying on Rasmus Højlund is also absurd,
Facts.
right?
So
But
let's look at the people. Garnacho, young fella. Okay, he young. So let's go to these signings. Anthony, Mount, Bruno. Bruno
but
played.
but,
Bruno just have
but
his moments, but like consistently hit the mark. Or you see amount of times Bruno coming on marked what he's doing the ball. Bruno needs to be more consistent. That's all
Simeon,
about Bruno.
let me just tie up this point that I'm making here, right? So and they just to tie up the whole point as to why Ten Hag not he not utilizing his players, right? Because again, so JP made the point, and I mean I am so glad that the international break has come now, so that at least we have 2 weeks in which we could hope Rasmus injury not that bad, so that we don't have to rely on Anthony Martial because as Phil was noting, after every 4 games, or every game with Anthony Martial, your fingers crossed, your toes curl up just in hope that this man don't get injured, right? So that we don't put ourselves in that situation, I guess hope, Højlund recover. Simeon, we in it because that is who we have. So he's 20 years, that is who we have, right? Now, what I was saying is, Ten Hag has to utilize his squad better because you have to know, well, hey, I have this man on the bench and know what he offers and know what he gives. I'd rather play him, I think he understands now his role has changed from last season. So he's not going to expect to be playing 90 minutes or even starting much games. But let's use the man. You spoke about how well he is. You spoke about his abilities. You spoke about it well last season. Then use the man for the team. Even if it means that you want to get rid of him in January. Shop the man,
Yeah.
right? And at the same time, you have Højlund getting the much needed rest. Or even so, you have him there utilizing for the team. Because we've been saying so much times, change it up. Play 2 strikers on top. Use Marcel and Højlund together. Do different things. Why is it you're not doing that? Why every game, you're taking off Højlund to bring on Marcel and Marcel playing 5 minutes? He playing. How you expect a player to who need a run of games, as most players, before you kind of see them getting into a rhythm? Because Marcel started off the season pretty decent. when he was coming off the bench, but then the minutes just started to decrease and decrease and decrease. So I don't understand what, Ten Hag is doing, right? Whether now he is trying to make a case for a next striker in January, I do not know. But from what I'm seeing, he is running his players to the ground, right? And it's not going to augur well for the team and whatever he's trying to create, because he's saying he do have players to play a system, but he's killing out the ones who there. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and
You know?
it's like, and it's just like last season when right through Zidane on the bench, and Zidane never come on to actually play a game, and now we're seeing this is the second game running Kobe on the bench,
Yeah.
and I thought today was a game like throw on Kobe now, like throw on the youth man. Let me see what he could do. This is Luton. And this is the kind of games. Okay, we were 1-up. And it didn't really seem like Luton had anything much in them to really come and take away the game from us, right? As much as
Correct.
I was nervous about it, they were not threatening like that. Throw on Kobe. These the kind of games he back from the injury, everybody was excited about what he could do. But now you're running like McTominay doing things for you recently, run McTominay to the ground. You let him play every minute of every game now. Like you had to mix up the squad, and how else will you know what them players could really offer?
Correct.
Again, so come on.
Correct. I'm gonna just get some comments on Simeon. I know he was making a point just now, so I'm gonna get the comments and then you'll make your point, right? Jesus Action on the inside. Good evening to you too, man. Thanks for joining. Glory, Man United for life. Alright, you don't know. Anderson on the inside, good night to you, buddy. He's saying it all comes down to confidence. Them fellas lacking it bad, and that's when we were talking about the strikers, right? Ethan Lynchy on the inside, good evening to you, man. Blessings and love. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying here, Luton Town fans stayed and sang with their players like they won, but they were saying
It's almost like
after that result, it's almost like a win. Right, they go feel motivated and confident going back home. This great Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
A defender to score to win them the game.
And on top of that, coming off a draw with Liverpool, you draw with Liverpool.
Exactly.
And you hold Man United 1-0, a little 1-0 you get from them.
Yeah. Kristen on the inside. Thanks for Kristen. Why are you watching games? He's saying United is the only team in the EPL right now with 4 wins in the last 5. And we're really in a crisis. And I guess that's a sarcastic question, right? But the problems from last season still remain. Because studies say it's the defense, but Onana was making mistakes. Our problem is attack. We need a proven goal scorer, and we still didn't get one. And I think Simeon was making that point as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I think Simeon banging on that from day one, right? Aaron on the inside, good night, man. Thanks for joining. Right? Lynch is saying here, the fans were happy with their team's performance. Yeah. Christian saying here before the game today, minutes we were in the lead. Is the only 98 minutes we play with 12 games. I don't know if I'm reading this properly. Just now,
So we have only been in the lead for 98 minutes.
Probably.
In the 12 games that we play.
Okay. Scoring is up. Yeah, definitely. Scoring is a problem. All right. Anderson saying as bad as United have been, they have 1 less win than Arsenal. But it's my question to this comment, right? Anderson,
Come on.
Is it sustainable, right? Is our style of play sustainable? Right?
Anderson, how many losses Man United have? How many losses Arsenal have? Come on. We're trying to be positive, but not that positive. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying there, Anderson, but I looking at the sustainability because, I mean, look at the teams that we were playing over the last 5 games in the Prem, right? And I'm going to tell you all that you need to know.
Exactly.
Right? Yes, Simeon, go through with the point that we was making. Sorry about that.
No, I mean, it's like they should do like a cost analysis of dollars spent per goal. Like who's spending most money, and how much goals they got from it. I feel we'll be probably the worst, if not in the Premiership, in the whole English football organization, because I mean, the players we've bought in the last 3 4 years, like what have they done for us? They might play good for one season and then drop off. I mean, and now they even playing. We went from having players that played well, in the first year, to now having players who we buy and they don't even play. Mount can't play, Aaron Batten playing. You have Anthony, who I see play. I mean, he make a pass today, what should have been an assist, and that would have been a big plus for him. But overall, he's been terrible. We've been spending money on these positions and have gotten absolutely nothing. And Garnacho, the latest young player, but still, we've seen what other young players are doing for other teams. If you can't score the ball, assist, do something, play football. I just feel like you know, a team that has always scored goals, we just are going further and further away from it, and as we've been saying, we haven't addressed the situation. I mean, if we're not going to have a system, let's have the players. I mean, we can't always score. I think another thing, and why you can't have players who only score from counter attacks. If you watch Garnacho, like, his best playing style is from counter attacks. Rashford, best playing style, counter attacks. Um, Even Rasmus, he could do a nice tap in here and there, but his best attacking motion is when either you cross the ball, which is good, or when he has space to run in behind. Because he's I guess he's the fastest player, I guess fastest guy in our team this year, Rasmus Hoyland for this year. I saw somewhere he's the fastest
Yeah, I
guy.
think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so
And I'm like, how is he fast anyway? Well, like I guess that's somewhere, but like
now
we can't.
he deceptively quick, eh? He don't look it, but he actually is very quick.
Yeah, like, but we can't just have guys that score from counter attacks and expect to win games where we have to break down teams. And then
Yeah, yeah.
Bruno's not clinical. I keep saying the same thing, but like, why? I mean, I don't understand how you could. And Ten Hag was first saying the same thing, and we didn't understand what he was saying at first. But you can't create all these chances and score 1 out of 5, 1 out of 8 each game. It's just you can't do anything with that.
Yeah, but Ten Hag had need to freshen things up because the wingers too predictable. The way too predictable, Garnacho, and I will go back to even to the Copenhagen game. The tapping that Rasmus ended up scoring off a Garnacho shot should actually be a pass in the first place. When you watch back
Correct.
the replay,
Correct.
that square ball was the easier pass, the easier play than Garnacho trying to shoot. So our wingers only interested in playing on the opposite side so that they could cut in and shoot to score. If they're not doing that, they're going to run straight to the end of the line to try and cut the ball back when they reach to the end of the goal line. That is what they do. So it's either they cut in to try and score or they run straight to the end to then try and cut the ball back in from there. None of them trying to do an early cross, none of them waiting for the overlap from the wing back to hit them the ball so that they could hit a cross in one time. Because to me, if you're playing inverted wingers, the point of your wing back supposed to be to come and hit crosses one time when they overlap, or use them to make space for you to run into. But they're not doing that. They're just using them to take a runner with them and so that they could run inside to try and shoot. They're not utilizing them by giving them back the ball to hit a ball inside, cross it one time. Because Regulon is a player like to cross. Luke Shaw could cross. Darlow could cross. So we could utilize those fellas if we insist on playing inverted wingers. Utilize the wing backs to put in the crosses on the correct foot on the correct side. But we're not doing that.
we need a ball progressing midfielder, right? This whole when Bruno gets the ball, he's looking
Exactly. I agree.
for we're looking for the runners on the left and right. Forget that. That's too predictable.
Yeah,
Like JP said, man, we need a
yeah,
ball progressing midfielder. I take this ball and I'm running, but I'm also
yeah,
looking up, but I'm
yeah.
running. I don't care. I do care on who is on the left and who is on the right, but somewhere after, let's say, half an hour, it becomes predictable for opposition teams
And
because
yeah, I'm sorry. On Phil's point, like I'm not a big football mind, but I know exactly how to prepare for Manchester United,
Yeah,
and you see it. As soon as the ball go, I mean, Ten Hag had a great plan. Had a great plan. You see, Rashford and Garnacho have all kind of space at first, but as soon as they get the ball, you see two or three guys run out, right? And what they do, they pass the ball. If they pass the ball back inside, nothing happens. You see that? As soon as they pass the ball back to a midfielder, almost every time nothing happens, the ball goes backwards. There's nobody can say, "Hey, I have some space, let me run forward," and they just pass the ball inside. The ball goes backwards, and eventually it come back outside, and they will try and beat two men and get something going. But you can't just have one area to attack from the flanks, or you can pass the ball to the middle and Bruno try and curl the ball in for a cross. You can't just have those. You have to try and go through something. We can't go through the middle. Yes,
yeah.
we have good wingers, but you can't just have those. You have to have all options available, and nobody in the middle can run through the lines and break the lines and open things up.
And because the middle very predictable too. Because in the middle, you're going to have one player holding deeper. So earlier it was Ericsson deeper, and you have Bruno and McTominay who trying to get forward. So it's almost like you're just. So it's almost like we're playing 4-1-4-1. It's almost like that's what we play. So you don't really have much in the middle taking place because it's like you're playing with four on top, basically. Like just right behind the one striker.
well,
So
you
you
got
want
you got you
and
got you got you got to change that. You got to change that 4-1-4-1 formation, JP. We
yeah,
need four. We need a 4-3, and then whoever else left up top. We need at least two ball progressing midfielders. I kid you not, man. When I think ball progressing, and I think two midfielders that are great at communicating back in the day were Xavi and Iniesta and
yeah,
Busquets as well too. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah,
And that's why we I Karim keep getting mad at me. 'Cause I keep calling Menu's name. Anytime I see that Menu play, I just shake my head. Like Menu so comfortable on the ball, and you don't see that with any of our midfielders. Comfortable
If I had to
under
give
under
if
pressure.
I had to give our if I had to give two youngsters a chance to play together to see if they can do well together, are Manu and Hannibal. Those two
Hmm.
guys, I
Wait,
think Hannibal can do well at progressing the ball. There's another player
Dango.
in there's another player in the preseason that's from Norway. Can't remember if you remember his name.
Um,
Arwen Hansen.
yeah,
Arwen Hansen, yes.
yeah.
He played well in the preseason, and I have no idea where he is
No,
now,
but
but
what?
I
No,
would have given him a chance.
but what happened to Dango? He had a good game in the Crystal Palace game.
Boy,
He played with the
whoever,
As
he played
as
with the
well.
under 21s or something. He's the captain of the under 21.
Okay. Well, to me, he should be getting a chance because when he played in that game against Crystal Palace, he was actually very good.
Yeah, yeah, he was. You see, Ten Hag keeps saying things like you know, you have to prove yourself, and when you get your opportunity, you have to take it, and then you'll continue in the team. But that that doesn't seem to apply across the board,
No, it doesn't.
right? It doesn't apply across the board because we have some people who, showing up and not showing up, all right, but they continue to get the opportunities to make things, to correct things, while others now have to just wait and be patient and wait your turn.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, they just had to be professional, and more so for the young players, they just had to wait, right? As unfair to them as it may seem, but they weighed down the pecking order because Ten Hag in his head, he had to juggle, McTominay giving me something of what I want, he arriving in the box late and he creating that extra body in the box so when players cross the ball, McTominay there with Rasmus. Right? So we have two universal soldiers in the box to do battle. Right? No, because that's what it seemed to me,
Yeah.
right? Then you have Bruno who undroppable. Then you have Ericsson who you want to, that is your orchestrator. So how does and then now he had to find a way to justify 60 million Mason Mount.
Yeah.
And then he have Amrabat. So then when Ten Hag looked at his bench, those are the things that he's seeing in his head. So for him to look at Menu, we had to be winning that game 4-0.
Yeah.
I be honest with you, if our strikers we start to put away games, right? I feel, he may be more inclined to call on the likes of a Menu, to call on the likes of a Hannibal, and give them fellas minutes. This is just my take, eh? But the harder we make games is the more he has to rely on the more tried and tested players.
Well, I got a question because last season we were praising the likes of Benedict McCarthy for, having our strikers, particularly Marcus Rashford, finishing and Garnacho as well too. So I got to call out Benedict McCarthy this season. What happening to the boys this season?
Yeah.
What happening?
If they fire Brendan McCarthy and they bring in Alan Shearer, he'll get new manager bunks and them strikers go out of pot. And then next season with Alan Shearer they go pull stones again. It's something with everything by
I
one
feel like
season wonder.
It's too much a friend thing in that club, I feel, boy, because it's like, everybody always smiling with Benny McCarthy, and there's always a smile and joke thing in the training session. You always seeing that it's always looking like it's a kind of friend, happy kind of. I'm not saying it can't be so, but it's had to have a time for business, man. And
Don't get me wrong, JP. I totally agree with you, but I'm kind of old school. And old school, I mean, when you define friend, you go if you have a friend circle, each person in that circle is going to want the best for you and will do anything to help you elevate, right? So if you all is friends, you ain't gonna want to see everybody in your circle elevate. I old school, but I don't know the definition of friend in 2023, but I can tell you the definition of friend from early 2000s, late 90s, right? That's how I define friend back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So
man, they.
Let me just get some comments here real quick. Kristen saying hopefully when the Radcliffe take over we get some new signings in January. All right. He's saying he'll take Tony.
So 100 million for Tony,
yeah, Brentford asking for 100 million. Yeah. He's also saying here our XG continues to be high. Finishing has been poor. Right? Garnacho, Rashford, and Rasmus all missed sitters. Yeah, and the thing about it, those chances that these guys missed were quality chances today. It wasn't even half chances earlier.
Yeah. I think more so
Other
Garnacho
teams-
and Rashford.
Yeah.
Rasmussen was a little tougher.
The first one or the second one, the both of them.
Yeah.
All of them. The thing is, this is Luton. You ain't gonna get these chances against the good teams. You're not gonna get these chances. If you can't point that out, if you're going to score one goal against Luton, what's gonna happen when you have one chance in the whole game?
Yeah.
And the
It's
thing
also
about it,
supposed to be
Simeon,
confidence builder.
and the thing about it, exactly. If you got Rasmus scoring today, Garnacho scoring today, Rashford scoring today, then they would go into the next game, which would be probably the harder opponent, with a little more confidence now, boy.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. This is
it's
why
Everton,
goals against
right?
these teams important. And Everton, they win today.
And Everton they have a fight in them right now. So it's not
Yeah.
an easy game.
bear in mind, Ten Hag is not going to be available for the Everton game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus saying here, physicality by athleticism is our downfall. So I'm glad we have some small team. So I'm glad we have a small team bully, Harry, right? But he was immense. Distribution, stepping up, wrangling with players available in the box and ball carrying. Yeah, Harry
No, yeah,
has
Maguire is
been
actually our
good.
best player right now.
Yeah, he's been good.
Imagine that.
And I think he feeding off the confidence the manager giving him,
Yeah.
because I mean he came in and he hasn't looked back. I mean he still isn't my cup of tea, right?
No.
Aesthetically and otherwise, right? But he doing well. He just look dotish now, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
I mean-
that little hair flick you always doing as though you hair long dread.
Nah, but
Nah,
the
but nah,
thing
the
that bugs
man
me is like when you watch Harry, you can tell Harry playing to hit to the max. You can tell a man playing with everything. You can tell that's that's Harry's limit. But you look at some of
Yeah.
our players, you're like, I know Rashford, I know you better than that, Rashford. You look at some players like Mount. I mean, I ain't seen Mount play, but like so many players in our team, you look at and you're like, I don't like. Is that your best? Like, is that the best you can do? Let me see who else. And
Garnacho.
upon review, I'm sorry, upon review, our team is shit. I mean, I hate to say it. No, seriously though. As I look, I do a deep, we used to have guys, we used to talk about Pogba. Pogba was real do this sometimes, but Pogba could play a game. Used to have, I mean, Ronaldo. Ronaldo wasn't our best, but you know what he was capable of. Cavani. We had guys with real class, and you knew what you're capable of. I just look at the guys we have now, and it's like, I don't see that elite. We talk about that elite.
But
Class.
question Simeon, right? Question, and this is what I was, this is the point I was making some time ago, right? Do we need those elite players? Because I've seen, even at PSG where Messi and Neymar and Sergio Ramos and all these big players, and it didn't work. So what I'm saying is have a system and have players in there that could execute a game plan to perfection. It doesn't have to be big names.
That
Right?
don't count, Reem. But I'll let you finish and tell you why it don't count.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the likes of a Brighton, Hove and Albion, right? Look at them, right? These are good players. And they've fallen into a system and a structure, and they make this thing look so seamless. They lose Caicedo, they bring in Gilmore, and the football, everybody looking at a certain level. So if you were to go in player for player and compare each Brighton player to our player, more than none, the Man United player would be the better player on paper.
Yeah.
But Brighton playing better player football, and they're making the players look better than our players.
Yeah.
Kareem, I mean, what Ten Hag said the other day, and this is what everyone kind of stopped and listened. He was like, they're asking, why can't you play Ajax football? And he says, I don't have the players. And he described what he was trying, his plan, trying to, and we said the last show, trying to merge Manchester United football with his style of football. And anytime you try and mix one thing with the next, it's always going to be messy. It's always going to be, because that is not his thing. And he's trying to, it's always going to be a mess, a lot of figuring out stuff that's going to be ugly, and that's why we didn't want that. We didn't want him to come in here and try and figure out Manchester United to play like Manchester United. We want him to bring his system from Ajax and teach what he knows. Not
gonna lie, I don't want to be playing Ajax ball right now, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but
What I'm saying it's
a hybrid.
It's hard to teach a hybrid when you've been doing. If you're good at something, it's hard to go in somewhere like Manchester United and try something new. It's always going to be messy. And right
You
now
think
we're in a
so?
big
You think
mess.
so? I mean, that's our coach. That's our coach's this and he con right because you have to be flexible. You have to be dynamic. You know, you have to be there and be able to see well. Okay, I could use this and still meet the DNA of the club, right? And merge it and make something. You have to be able to evolve and change.
But
So
right
if
now
a
he ain't doing
manager
it.
can't do that, Simeon, I hear what you're
Right now
saying.
he can't do it.
I hear what you're saying,
Right now.
Simeon. But I
Yeah.
think a manager should be able to do that. You know, stick to your principles, but still be able to adjust and change certain things, tweak it to create something new, right? And that is how you would move from the traditional 4-4-2 to a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-5-2. These things didn't just happen. You know,
Yeah.
coaches would have been put in different scenarios where they had a squad and that mix and match their philosophy with who they had, what the league would demand, and so I think it could work. I think it could work in terms of finding some way to, merge what Ajax would have done with what United DNA back to Fergie would have
Right.
produced. I
And
think it
and
could work.
that's why I was going to come with the Man United DNA. That DNA still over 10 years right now because we not playing to that DNA that we are accustomed to for like 10 years. So Ten Hag, what we were expecting, or at least I was expecting, is not like identical Ajax football, but more of Ten Hag style than the Man United style that we were seeing in recent years. Because, like we mentioned, Brighton. I don't know how much of all you looked at the Vibe with Five interview with Kevin Prince Boateng. He talked about playing under De Zerbi in Italy, with I think it was Sassuolo. He was
Sassuolo, yeah.
with, yeah, and he say he was the best version of himself under De Zerbi, and he was balling for AC Milan before that. And the reason he said that is because De Zerbi had his style of play, and he make him become a better version of himself. So I saying that to say a manager had to come and stamp his authority. I think that's what we see happen at Brighton because Potter was doing very good at Brighton, but De Zerbi come and he bring his style of play. And the club have a structure in place that was able to back him when they lose players. They have a proper scouting structure in place that they were able to bring in players, and then these players are able to buy into what De Zerbi want to do. So I think that is where we have the chaos in our club because we don't have the structure in place, we don't have the proper scouting in place for the manager to be able to actually stamp his authority on the team and do what he wants with it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think this is something we have been kind of repeating over the last 4 or 5 podcasts, even prior to Ten Hag when Ole was there, right? So I I don't know if I've said this before, but I think in 2024 we should have most of our first team players, and we should have most of our first team players back. So Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Lissandro Martinez, um, and then other injuries like Kobe Manu. Um, I want to see what Ten Hag can do with these guys in 2024. Right? It's easy to um, talk about Ten Hag out and also a system that needs to be implemented, right? But you still need the players who are going to follow this system as well, too, right? So let's see what 2024 can bring. I know we're on. I know we are a month and some days away, but as of right now, I feel numb. Maybe in 2024, I will feel a bit more joy. And I've been telling Reem this here for the last couple of months. Roll on 2024 because my seatbelt and my life jacket are on for the rest of this year, right? So
Yeah. Let me just get some comments here I want to move on to our next point. Um, After the comments, right? Um, Eric on the inside. Well, Eric saying here, Garnacho and Rashford today. Oh Lord, when it comes to shoot, shoot.
Yeah.
No need to take second touches.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Anderson replying to you, but the comment came perfect. All right, it's all about confidence, because a confident Rashford taking it one time and putting it away, whether it's between the keeper legs, up in the jetness, up in so, by. Eric also saying here better on paper because we hype these players up as fans when they in actuality they're
I
not
don't
that
believe
good.
that. I don't believe that, man. I don't believe that.
Right? I mean, they're showing me that good at the moment, and it's showing that they're not good every 2 seasons or every 3 seasons, and they show you how good they could be,
Yeah.
every 2 seasons. All right. It's a conversation I was having. I think it was with me and you, JP. This week, and the role of the number 9 in the modern game,
Yeah.
right? And we feeling it because we seeing how Rasmus working hard. Forgive me, I'm not going in on the player, but he working hard, missing sitters, losing duels, but he working hard, running the channels, getting ignored, right? And then when he come off, everybody clapping him, he getting pat on the shoulder, and a job well done. When in truth and in fact, you being paid to score goals. And for you to score goals, the players and the team supposed to set up their game plan and whatever they have to do to ensure that we can give the number 9 the ball to score. What has happened that has now caused the number 9s to be workhorses and hustlers, right? As opposed to those who are being fed to score the goals.
Midfield
What happened
lazy.
to football? What happened to football earlier?
To football or to Manchester United?
Well,
football,
well, yeah, I
we
feel
don't have-
football
we
in
don't
general,
have-
the number 9s,
Yeah,
you're not
we don't
seeing
have
the
that
number 9s
traditional
really,
9s again.
the traditional 9s that is.
Yeah.
Well, the game has evolved, right? At the end of the day, this I gonna go off a little bit and then come back. At the end of the day, you kind of gotta respect what Sir Alex Ferguson did. That guy built 4 squads. 4 squads that guy built when he first became manager of Manchester United. 4 different squads to adapt to every single generation. That guy was phenomenal. That guy was a genius. Now to bring it back now to the original question. There are some players whose style of play may fit that hard working, dropping deep for the football. Harry Kane is one of them. But then you got players like, let's say, like a Zlatan or maybe a Berbatov or a Lewandowski who not going to drop deep, but they're going to drop a little bit every now and then, right? Rasmus has the energy. He's only 20 years old. But at the end of the day, I get where you're coming from, Reem, with regards to players clapping him off and what's not, right? Watch and see in the second season, not players, fans clapping him off. Watch and see in the second season if he does the same thing he's doing now. Fans ain't going to be clapping him. Watch and see. He's new. He's a new signing. He's young, but second season, Manchester United fans are going to forget. Okay, all this hard work and what's not. If you're not putting goals behind the hard work, fans going to turn on you quickly in this day and age. Okay, watch and see.
Right, and Simeon, you could jump in after Phil. And there's just it, because I agree with you, Phil, that the fans will eventually get impatient. But then when you consider how the football plays now, it's like everybody now thinks that they could score. The responsibility is no longer, and when I say responsibility, yes, we understand that as a striker, your responsibility is to score. but it's like everybody want to score. For instance, I'll draw an example. Today in the game, a ball dropped to Dalo. Dalo is our left back. Right before Dalo take the ball down and look for a better pass, Dalo try a shot from there. And I'm like, Dalo, what you doing?
Yeah.
What you doing? Right? And this is part of the point that I'm making, that like nobody thinking about, well, hey, how I could set this up in a way that, will benefit the who's the striker on the field at that point in time. Let me take it and let me play it out wide so we could get across into the box. And probably the striker got attack it because it's his space. That'll take the shot, and the shot went all in Rosie or whatever. So for me, it's like players no longer care about, hey, okay, how I could provide from a forward, right? And more, well, hey, I could get a chance to score here, boy.
All right.
Simeon,
Yeah.
how you see that?
I mean, you're right, but at the same time is, I was trying to figure out, as you was talking, I was trying to figure out, what to say, because I had no answer for that. But I mean, what came to my mind was, if you believe in someone, if you trust your striker to hit the target, 75% of the time, you'll find him. If you have that much trust and belief in your striker, it's gonna bust in that. You're gonna find him, and like I say, trust and I say respect, because before Rashford could, start passing the ball to Rasmus, he had to talk to him. They work together. Like, you need that connection and that trust. That this fella. If I give you two chances, you go at least score one. And you look at Rasmus, like nothing. I mean, the man big, the man fast, but nothing in his previous. I mean, he scores international goals, but like he has no. What's the word looking for? No, he has no big reputation to lean back on. I don't think he gains that much respect from his peers at Manchester United, as strikers in their teams do. I don't think, and more as these games go by, and he doesn't score in the Premier League, he's not going to get. I mean, it's a clear cut chance, a clear cut pass. He's going to get it pass. But if I have a chance to do a little something, I'll take my shot. I think more and more you're seeing the French players having less trust in their strikers in the target, and and more and more as we go down this route where guys are missing horribly, you'll start to see more and more defenders take shots. You see Dallo taking more shots. I just don't think no one really trusts the strikers anymore, or that much per se. Because if they did, the whole gameplay would have been built around Hoyland. I mean, you would think Ten Hag, that would be the point with Ten Hag to build that kind of trust, but men just have chance to cross the ball into the box and they don't.
But Simeon, before you continue, let me just put this to you, right? And I understand, I agree with that, right? Because it's a whole trust thing with the team. But I don't know if you noticed today that a lot of crosses were coming into the box, right? You were seeing, because and I believe that's one of the reasons why he played Rashford on the right.
Right,
Even
yeah.
against Copenhagen, the first goal we scored was off a ball that was crossed into the box when McTominay played it inside, and he was there. So is it that Ten Hag has to tell these players, or they play the ball in the box? Because before Copenhagen and today, there were not much balls being played into the box,
Yes. I mean, we've been calling for Rashford to be in the right for this same reason. We've been calling for Rashford to be in the right for this same reason, because otherwise you will not be seeing a lot of balls put into the box. Why Ten Hag wait this long to move Rashford across there? To cross the ball, it's just, I mean, it just seems so dumb. Like, the only way I can get across the ball is to come from the right. Like now you seen Rashford do. I mean, and it goes back to this whole point of wingers. Like, what are our wingers? What are we telling our wingers to do? I just it's hard to Katarak always says I want them to supply Hoyland, but unless he has people move to this particular spot, it ain't gonna happen. Like I don't know, man. I'm scratching
I
my
don't know.
head.
I don't know. I guess fine. Like only now I'm seeing where Hoyland is actually getting chances to miss. If you saw saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, go through JP. What's
Yeah,
your thoughts?
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's in general with the whole striker um, in the game. I think when they look at the teams that have strikers who scoring, the Lewandowski, the Haaland, Benzema. When you look at those type of strikers, the team play to that striker's strength. Um, I remember noticing before City signed Haaland, City who didn't have they were playing like a false nine, but City was playing balls in the box. They already started to prepare for Haaland coming to the club because they were playing a lot of balls in the box. And I was like, but who they playing the ball to? And they were actually scoring from it too. And when Haaland came, it was just a natural thing for the team to look for the player in the box. So the problem that we have in at Man United, I don't know if the problem is because of the poor number nines we have had recently, the stopgap number nines we have had recently, we're signing strikers who on the latter end of the career, who not really making those kind of runs, is more like just finding a self space in the box, kind of like I don't know what it is. If it is the wingers not accustomed to it, and Rashford as always says our product moving around too much. We rely on him when he started it through the middle. He was scoring some goals. We put him out on the wing. He preferred to play on the left. So we put him back in the middle when we don't have a striker again. So I think that was the problem with Rashford. So it's like we never really find the best position for him, and now he's no longer a youth. So it's like he have to train himself over now if we want to see him on the right, because his game was developed more for him to play off the left to come in and shoot. So that's why today, even I was looking at him on the right and I was like, run at the man Rashford, but he's so not accustomed running
Yeah.
down the right side that he's
Yeah,
still trying to
he
cut
look real out
in.
of place. Yeah, he
He
look
was
real out
looking
of
out
place.
of place like he didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
his crossing is good from that side because
Yeah.
he don't want to try and cut in to shoot to the left. So I think the team had a play to the striker's strength. Hoyland, to me, is similar to Kane, where he likes to come a little deeper. He not going to be passing as much as Kane and looking to link play like that. But he have the ability to come deeper, collect the ball, pass it off, and then go forward. And I was listening to Rio say the other day, Van Nistelrooy was the type of number 9, and that's who he compare Hoyland to. In that, when you're not giving him service, he make you cry. Because he will come at you. But he was saying that he don't think Hoyland at that stage in his career where he could
Yeah,
come at
he
players
can't
like
tell
that.
Rashford and them nothing. Yeah,
He don't have that
yeah, he
rank.
can't tell him
He
nothing.
can't do that. So it's for the players to know this is what his strength is. So therefore, look at the pass when he come deep and look at the pass he was able to give to Garnacho. And then when he make that pass, he go on again, he run in, he go in the box. So if these players could know must run, collect that ball deep, pass it off, you know he running. So when I start to run, I know Rasmus will be in the box. Look for
yeah,
him. Look for him because that's how he playing.
but
Yeah.
but
Go
again,
ahead.
but they didn't finish it. None of them finished it. None of them busting that. What? It's like
Yeah, boy.
it's like yourself. You do one good thing, and it's like the next part, this car. That man reach in front of the goal, and man score. Man. How we ain't score a goal, boy? That
Yeah.
he didn't leave.
But one thing, but one thing is, Simeon, I think the important thing is to figure out the right formula
Ah,
and let them work it out, right?
okay.
Because I think we created enough chances, right, to say at some point one of these buggers have to
to score.
score.
Yes,
Yeah.
have to score, man.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You understand what I'm saying? But the most
Gosh.
important thing is that we figure out, all right, so we know Rash, if we play the ball in the box, Rasmus he will put his body in the line and he will meet it. And once defenders start to see, Rasmus, because of his physical build up, he roughing up one defender and the next defender will be forced to pull, thereby pulling away another defender from whichever attacker coming from the left or on the right. So it will create that space now where if Garnacho playing off the left or Rashford playing off the left, when they coming in, they ain't gonna have two men double teaming them. They might have one, and then they could beat that player and take a free shot at goal. So you see, everything just kind of work together
Together.
if it have a proper understanding of a system and a style of play and patterns.
Yeah.
So them fellas had to figure that out and stop being so blasted selfish.
Yeah. Even
Right?
Scholes mentioned to Bruno need to stay closer to Hoyland. He said Bruno wanna play all over, but he had to be closer to Hoyland. and we talk about that. If Bruno could just be disciplined in his positioning, then he will be able to supply more. But he wanna play all over the place.
If I tell you, in terms of creativity and supplying and chance creation, me and too fancy Bruno now, boy. There's more proof where you see like men like David Silva, them
I know
kind
what you
of.
mean.
Give me
them
Bernardo.
kinda
Give me
players.
Bernardo Silva. Give me Bernardo Silva.
No,
all day.
no.
I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah,
They
but
just
even
replace one-
David
they replace
Silva.
one Silva with the next one. Because he
Yeah,
do the
they
same
replace one
thing.
for the other.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that kind of player now, boy. That kind of wizard, kind of magician.
Yes,
Kind
he
Bruno's not a
and-
magician.
and-
Don't call you no magician.
No, and you see, Rim, this is why I always say I find Sancho as a player more in the mold at that style. You know. And I feel if
Yeah,
he
but
was
Sancho-
at City, that is where he would have been at City. He would not be on a wing. He would
Sancho
be a winger.
frustrated me because the man
No,
had the potential, the quality to do that, and this man want to play Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox, man.
If you get pay triple figures to sit down home and play Xbox Premium, you know.
I gotta replace my Xbox with the PS5.
PS5, yeah. I mean, guys, it was a good discussion, and I seeing some things that have me a little bit positive, But the thing about it is the team so bereft of confidence, and I think it's Jesus mentioned it the last podcast. Our mentality, it not strong enough to, to even when the when the going is down, the tough gets going or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I fear that we meet a better team than Luton Town, and we're not able to replicate some of the positives that we were seeing that we could build on from today.
Yeah.
Because I mean the lack of confidence, heads drop and we just go back to doing their own thing, hoofball, everybody trying to be selfish to get the goal for the team, and we abandon all the plans now.
You
So I guess
got
we just have to see.
my final thoughts. Like I say, happy birthday to Nico.
Hey, yeah, Nico,
yeah.
Nico, if
Happy
you're
birthday to Nico,
yeah,
man.
if you're watching birthday blessings, Nico, man, have a good one. I know you liking up himself, wherever he is.
We get a win. Yeah, win.
Yeah, and we get
Yeah.
3 points. 3 points. 3 points. So let me get some closing thoughts, fellas, and let me wrap it. What are we saying?
International break. Gotta find something else to do on the weekend.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Nah, man. It's not like you said, man. International break. I hope we come back plus players, not minus. That's the only thing. We have too many minuses these days for But Saka was out today for sickness. I just hope we come up with a plus, man. Bring back. I want to see another player come back after this break. Just keep bringing them back.
Yeah. I want us start getting some calls from the referees, because one thing we forgot to talk about was the fact that There are two incidents today where Maguire was being held in the box and we still haven't seen the replays. I still waiting to see the replays. But VAR chalk it off, right? So I just hope that we could start to get some calls going our way and like Jim Ratcliffe could come and start to buy referees again or something like because we had a
That budget coming.
Jamal. We had to
Yeah.
pass someone because it's not working right now.
Yeah, boy. This honesty thing ain't working for we.
No, it's not working.
Yeah, this honesty thing ain't working. And I realize Ten Hag. And I realized Ten Hag, he patience went in because he get booked today because he went at a referee.
Yeah.
So you seen where he getting wary of the refereeing decisions and the calls against the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, guys, so I mean, 3 points in the bag, which was at the end of the day the most important thing. But as fans, we're looking at the sustainability. And I mean, we want to see better so that we could trust in the team, getting points over a longer period of time and not just by fear, sheer luck, So, I mean, again, as you all say, we hope that after the international break, players that would have gone off today, even Johnny Evans. I don't know how long Johnny Evans off for. Here I reach now Johnny Evans. I hope when he come.
Yeah.
Anyway. So guys, it was nice. Phil, JP Simeon, those in the comments. We do appreciate it. The likes, the shares, guys. Don't forget we're on YouTube. So go across there and subscribe if you haven't already. Alright. And we're on a little break. So if any takeover news, because we are hearing Phil that something might happen very, very soon with
international break
with this Radcliffe thing. So we'll see how it goes, and we might do a pod, Anyway, guys, have a good night. See you in the next one.
Laters.